Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 3, Chapter 29, Text 28. Jiva Shreshta Hi Avi Ajivanam Tatha Pranavrata Shubhe Tata Sachitta Pravaras Tataschendriya Vrittaya. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Living entities are superior to inanimate objects. O Blessed Mother, and among them, living entities who display life symptoms are better. Animals with developed consciousness are better than them, and still better are those who have developed sense perception. So here, Lord Kapila Dev is telling his mother that why the gradual elevation of consciousness, so it means consciousness is so valuable, that one is superior to the other based on the level of consciousness. Inanimate objects, our chair, table, computers, these are inanimate. It is just material elements. It's not a living entity. Then, better than that is a living entity. Because why? The living entity is an individual, has consciousness. And then we go in the gradual evolution. There are living entities in lower consciousness, and then there are living entities with higher consciousness. Like trees, for example, they have lower consciousness. Animals have higher consciousness. In the previous verse, it was explained that living entities should be honored by charitable gifts and friendly behavior. And in this verse and in the following verses, the description of different grades of living entities is given so that one can know when to behave friendly and when to give charity. For example, a tiger is a living entity, part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the Supreme Lord is living in the heart of a tiger as Super Soul. But does this mean that we have to treat the tiger in a friendly manner? Certainly not. We have to treat him differently, giving him charity in the form of prasad. Yes? Friendly, how we can be friendly with a tiger? We can't hug him for sure. We'll become his meal, But yeah, we can give him prasad. That's how we can be friendly to a tiger. But if we see a living entity, a human being, we are like-minded, we can have friendly, loving relationship with them. So the many saintly persons in the jungles do not treat the tigers in a friendly way, but they supply prasad foodstuffs to them. The tigers come, take the food and go away, just as a dog does. According to Vedic system, a dog is not allowed to enter the house. Now, if people were to hear this, they would say, why? You're discriminating this, that, but this is the Vedas. The Vedas say that because of their uncleanliness, cats and dogs are not allowed within the apartment of a gentleman, but are so trained that they stand outside. So this is in the Vedic society, that cats and dogs could be kept as pets, but outside the house, because they are walking everywhere, all over, so unclean. The compassionate householder will supply prasad to the dogs and cats who eat outside and then go away. We must treat the lower living entities compassionately, but this does not mean that we have to treat them in the same way we treat other human beings. So we have to understand how to behave with a human being, how to behave with a cat or a dog or a tiger. We can't just be impersonal and say, oh, everything is one. Of course, yes, the living entities are one, but based on the body that they are in currently, the consciousness is differently exhibited. As we said, in the same way, we can't treat an inanimate object the way we treat a living entity, or we can't treat a living entity the way we treat an inanimate object. Like a chair or whatever, we don't have loving relations with them. We okay, they're there, we use them, and then that's it. But we can't do that with living entities.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Yes, please.
Just wanted to ask. So in inanimate objects, also the Paramatma resides?
He's
No.
there, yes, because Paramatma is there as in every atom, right? But the living entity is not there. The soul is not there.
Not there,
So
but the
how we
Paramatma is there.
understand, yeah,
Okay.
Paramatma is there, but you see, we don't keep going around praying to the chair, right? We don't. We understand that this is the energy of the Lord, belongs to the Lord.
Okay. So you treat it like you take care of it. Means like, like don't destroy any object.
Yes,
Something like
that's
that.
right.
Got it. Right?
That's right. Because all the resources belong to Krishna.
Right.
All resources belong to Krishna. So
Correct.
yes,
And
as you
also
say,
I
take
think,
care of it.
right. Also, I think like where it comes to like animals like cats and dogs, we don't, I mean, they say in the Vedas, in the Vedic literature, that don't keep them at home. I think like, it means probably that we should not be so attached to the animal, like how a Bharat Maharaj, he
Yes,
got so,
also,
yeah, probably that's the reason.
probably also. But specifically for cats, like they always mention due to uncleanness. You see, because a house should be kept very clean. The deity is there, and to keep the diseases away, so the animals, they're walking around everywhere, right? Outside also, they're not wearing shoes. Then with the same feet, they're coming home, and if they're climbing on our furniture. So then everywhere is unclean, right?
Mm.
So uncleanliness, that's why.
Okay.
Because, for example, like we don't wear shoes inside the house, what we want outside. But if your dog is coming inside, how do you stop that then?
Right.
You know?
But now it
So,
doesn't
but
work.
then, huh?
But now people are like, how
Yes,
they see the
yeah,
pets more, and I think it's like a family member, and it's become.
yes, it's true. It's true. And then you rightly bring out that point of attachment then.
Yeah.
Then that point of attachment is very appropriate because of course, we get attached and then, you know,
Right.
then it
Like at the
entails
time
all the
of that,
other things.
and at the time of that, see, like when you're so attached, maybe that's what you think, right? And
Maybe, yes,
yeah.
can be. Yeah. Especially in Taiwan, we see that how the pets are being, it's like their own children with their prams and everything. So yeah, again, that was a Vedic system. Now we don't have any kind of a system in current society, right? We don't have any proper social system anymore. So yes, attachment will increase the attachment to the pets. So the feelings of equality must be there, but the treatment should be discriminating. The feeling of, this is the thing that we are not able to understand it, The feeling of equality must be there. The cat and dog is also a living entity, but the treatment should be discriminating, that how we treat a human being and how an animal should be treated. So just how discrimination should be maintained is given in the following 6 verses concerning the different grades of living conditions. So what happens is, because you see, sometimes we falsely display false compassion, because we may say, okay, we are bringing certain animals into our house and giving them so much luxury, then why are we slaughtering certain animals? Like the cows, the pigs, the chickens, they're just getting the brunt of it.
True.
That because we may say, oh yeah, I'm very compassionate to the animals, I love animals, but then at the same time, what are we doing to the other animals? So sometimes our compassion is very skin deep, kind of. It's not really, it's just like,
I guess we must not be cruel to the animals, but yeah, like, you don't need to be so attached, like bringing the animal, making or, how.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, like how, as you rightly said, no, how can you be pampering one animal so much and whereas slaughtering the other animal? Where is the sanity in it? Where is the logic in it?
True.
Like the way the cows are being tortured is so terrible. If you actually watch it, is horrible. So on one hand, we want to pamper one animal, saying that we are lovers of animal, and another part we are torturing. Then what excuse do we have? So yeah. So we continue reading. The first division is made between dead, stone-like matter and the living organism. So distinctions are made. A living organism is sometimes manifested even in stone. Experience shows that some hills and mountains grow. Some stones has a soul present in it. Sometimes the soul, there is a living entity in it. And just give me a moment, please. Just one moment. So I'm sorry about that. So then experience shows that some hills and mountains grow. This is due to the presence of the soul within that stone. Above that, the next manifestation of the living condition is development of consciousness. And the next manifestation is the development of sense perception. So stones have consciousness, some of them, not all of them. Some stones may have consciousness, but they will not have sense perception. So if a living entity, we can see the gradual elevation then. One is inanimate, another one is conscious, and another one is conscious and has sense perception. Sense perceptions means they have feelings. Animals have feelings. We kill them, they cry, they get hurt. So that is sense perception. So they need to be treated differently than just a stone or a chair or just something. So in the Moksha Dharma section of the Mahabharata, it is stated that trees have developed sense perception. They can see and smell. Wow, and Mahabharata says that trees have sense perception, that they can see and smell. We know by experience that trees can see. Sometimes in its growth, a large tree changes its course of development to avoid some hindrances. This means that a tree can see, and according to Mahabharata, a tree can also smell. This indicates the development of sense perception. So the sense perception the trees have, that they can see and they can smell. And then as the living entity grows, the consciousness is higher, then they have higher sense perception. And it's going to be in the next verses. Tatrapi sparsha vedibhya pravara rasavedinaha tebhyo gandha vedashreshtas tata shabda vedo varaha. Among the living entities who have developed sense perception, those who have developed the sense of taste are better than those who have developed only the sense of touch. Better than them are those who have developed the sense of smell, and better still are those who have developed the sense of hearing. So we can see a gradual elevation. All are living entities, all are equal, parts and parcels of God. Yet the way we need to treat them is different. This is what we are trying to understand. Although Westerners accept that Darwin first expounded the doctrine of evolution, the science of anthropology is not new. The development of the evolutionary process was known long before the Bhagavatam, which was written 5,000 years ago. There are records of the statements of Kapila Muni, who was present almost in the beginning of the creation. This knowledge has existed since the Vedic time, and all these sequences are disclosed in Vedic literature. The theory of gradual evolution or anthropology is not new to the Vedas. So, we have so many departments. I don't know, when we were in college, it was very simple, commerce, science, or arts, like the main three, Now we see there's so many so many specializations, so many different things you could do. And so we think, oh, wow, it's new. But nothing is new. Everything is there in the Vedas. All knowledge comes from the Vedas. Vedas means knowledge. So here is another proof that the science of anthropology has existed since time immemorial. Not that we are discovering anything. Well, maybe we are discovering something, but it doesn't mean if we discover something that it does not exist. So it is said here that amongst the trees, there are also evolutionary processes. The different kinds of trees have touch perception. It is said that better than the trees are the fish, because fish has developed the sense of taste. So the trees have sense perception. We just heard they can see and they can smell. And now the fish can also taste. The trees can see and they can hear. Sorry, the trees are hearing, but here is written some trees can smell, right? But anyway, the idea is they can smell and they can see. So then the fish are better because they can taste also. And then the bees are better because they can smell. And then better than the bees are the serpents because they can hear. In the darkness of a night, a snake can find its eatable simply by hearing the frog's very pleasant cry. The snake can understand there is the frog, and he captures the frog simply because of its sound vibration. This example is given sometimes for persons who vibrate sounds simply for death. Wow. That the frog, because he's just talking and talking so much, the snake is coming in the form of death and eating him up. So one may have a very nice tongue that can vibrate sound like frogs, but that kind of vibration is simply calling death. You can see how Bhagavatam really goes to the point. It takes away all our, fantasies. Takes away all the fantasies. Bhagavatam is saying, oh, you have a tongue, you're just talking rubbish things. You're going to be killed like a snake is going to eat a frog. The best use of the tongue and of sound vibration is to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That will protect one from the hands of cruel death. So that's the reason we need to regularly hear and chant, and develop our love of God. Did anyone want to add anything? Now then we'll stop here for today. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shilpa Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare